the bottom. Ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
What is the deal? It is your boy, Marley Bet. This thing we do right here, I like it, Moose. This thing we do right here is Brothas N Bets. Early Friday edition MLB. Today I got the homie Moose, as you guys already see. Money. What up, Moose?
What's going on, man? It's nice to be back. It was I'm not sure exactly what the show record was from last time I was on here, but I know on the day.
I got you. You killed it.
Hey, I had a good day that day, man. 9-3 that day.
As the show purposes go,
3-1. Let's fucking go.
3-1.
All right.
Actually, Dami, LJ, and Moose, they're all tied at 3-1. I haven't calculated Dave's last plays, which were Dave.
I know he got a few of them right. He was on Phillies. He was on that under.
Philly won, so he's 1-1 from yesterday. So that puts him up there. I did do mine. I went 3-0 yesterday. That puts me at 14-7-3. Yeah, we're gonna keep getting lucky because that's all I'm doing out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Really quick show. Got the Moose Man here. Him and Dave. I say this all the time. I'm gonna continue to say it. Moose and Dave are my favorite baseball cappers. I listen to them for the most part. I get all my information from them for the most part. So, and I'm getting from Dami too. I don't want to leave Dami out of there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Moose and Dave are my staple baseball guys. Real quick show today. Let's jump into it. I got to go to the beach with the kiddos. 4th of July. So, cheers.
Hey, right back at you, bro.
All right. Let's start here. Moose, we talked about this a little bit. Pre-show. Well, actually, you hit me. I didn't have it on the list, but I do have a play on it. And so let's get into the Giants and the Mets. I've kind of been on the Mets lately. Not on them, but like on their series, fading them or with them. But Mets, I think I got a good read on those guys. Giants run line -1.5 is at +130. The money line, I'm sorry, SBO, what's good? I saw you. My bad, SBO. Moving kind of fast, big dog. Giants run line -1.5 is at +130. The money line is at 125, -125. The Mets run line +1.5 is at -150. And the money line for the Mets is at +115. We're looking at a total of 9. On the mound today, we have Cobb, 5-2 for the Giants. 3.09 ERA. Last 3 starts, 2 no decisions in a win. Last start, 4 innings, 2 errors. 5 innings before that, 4 errors. 7 before that with 0 errors. Our man Cookie was my man last year though. Not so much this year. 2-3, 6.919 ERA. His last 3 starts, 2 no decisions and a loss. Go as follows: 4 innings, 2 error. 3 innings, 5 error. 4 innings, 2 error. So for me, I'll do a quick couple extra factors before I throw it to Moose real fast. I'm not going to be too long on it. The Giants, 13-4 straight up last 17 games. 4-2 straight up against the Mets in their last 6. 10-2 straight up in the last 12 on the road. 12-2 straight up in the last 14 against an opponent from the National League. The Mets, 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games. 1-5 straight up in the last 6 home games. 2-7 straight up in the last 9 games against an opponent from the National League. Moose, I already told you I was leaning Giants. I'm pretty much on Giants. Giants first 5, and I'm thinking full game. I'm also thinking under, but I'm going to bet for sure Giants first 5.
Yeah, here's the deal. I didn't take a side on this. As I was doing my dive, I found a kind of a weird angle, weird thing that as a pitching coach, it stuck out to me. And it's Cookie Carrasco's slider usage. In 2022, when he was having a phenomenal year, he was doing really well. He was throwing his slider about 24%. So he had a 3-pitch arsenal that he was traditionally using, 4-seam fastball, changeup, and slider, throwing them 35, 24, and 24% respectively. This year, He's throwing his fastball and changeup, but he's not throwing his slider. His slider is only being thrown about 17% of the time. So that's a 7% drop, and that's a significant drop. I mean, you're basically throwing 1 out of 10 pitches fewer with not throwing the slider. And his slider is generating still a 28.6 whiff rate, which is, it's fine. It's not great, but it's just the fact that he's not even using it. And he's been struggling against right-handed batters. Right-handed batters have an over 900 OPS against him. And you look at his last start, he actually threw his slider quite a bit. He threw his slider double-digit times. It was 12 times out of his 88-plus pitches, and he did fairly well. You look at some of the starts, there is a correlation between his slider usage and his performance. His ERA, when he's not throwing his slider, it goes up. When he's throwing his slider, it goes down. One of the only games he actually did threw his slider double-digit amount of times and had a poor performance was in his first start of the year, which may have been a reason why he backed off of a little bit. All of that being said, the Giants have struggled against right-handed pitching. I mean, they've been struggling recently altogether. I mean, they barely scored a run in the Toronto series, and the Mets haven't been able to hit right-handed pitching, and I do trust Alex Cobb. So I'm on the under here. I beat line movement on this. I got the under last night at 9 at plus 100. I think it's at 9 at minus 120 right now, juiced to the under. So I beat that line movement. I believe that if Cookie Carrasco throws his slider more and he's able to neutralize some of those right-handed bats, he's going to start getting a little bit better. The other part of this, Giants do not have a lot of tremendous right-handed batters. Most of their power comes from the left side with Jock Peterson. So I like this under quite a bit. I took it first 5 and full game on the under 5. I'm sorry, the under it was under 5 and the under 9 respectively.
Do you want to give both unders
9.
or just
give me the under 9 full game. As I think it's going to be better, more indicative that if there is a little bit of struggle, I do think that the Giants didn't use much of their bullpen in the Toronto series, and the Mets at home do traditionally pitch better with their bullpen. So give me, for show purposes, give me the full game, but I do have one unit on each one of those under bets.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got the first 5. I like the under as well. I'm gonna hold off on the full game because of what you just said about the Giants and right-handed batters, but I trust Cobb. He's been money.
Yeah.
And before the who did they play last series? The Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. Giants played the Blue Jays.
So they've been on the East Coast. Series, they was hot. They had won several games. I can't remember how many out of 10 before that, and they came off 2 tough series with the Diamondbacks and then backdoor with the Blue Jays. So sometimes I kind of look at that because I'm a person, before I look at the full season, I go, what have you done for me last games? Last 5 and last 10. But I do take into account who you played in those last 5 and over those last 10. Like you coming off a series against the A's. I mean, how much does that really help me?
Well, to that point, this as a coach, this. It's not about who you play them, or it's when you play them. When you play them.
Right. So yeah, I think we're good. I like the under. It makes me like it even more.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Good stuff. Let's keep it going and let's go. Where do we want to go? Let's go here. I'm interested. I got a question about this game that I want to ask you before I make a decision. So let's talk about it now. Talking about the Rays, and I'm talking about the Mariners. The Rays run line minus 1.5 is at plus 140. The money line is at minus 120. Mariners run line plus 1.5 is at minus 160. The money line is at plus 110, and we're looking at a total of 7.5. On the mound today, McClanahan, the guy, 11-1, 2.23 ERA. Over his last 3 starts, 1 no decision, and the last one, and then 2 wins. In those starts, something happened in that last one. He only went 3, gave up 2. Before that, 6 gave up 1. Before that, 7 gave up 3. We got Mr. Miller on the other side for the Mariners, 5-3 with a 3.88 ERA. He's also been dealing over his last 3 starts, 1 no decision, 2 wins. They go as follow: 4 innings, 3 error. That's the no decision. Then the 2 wins are 7-1. Then he went 6 and gave up 1 before that. Real quick on the actual factuals. The Rays 4-2 over the last 6, 5-1 straight up in the last 6 games against Seattle, but 6-14 straight up in their last 20 games when playing on the road in Seattle, which goes to my question about Musa, what I'm about to say here in 2 seconds. Seattle 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games, 14-6, as I just stated earlier, over their last 20 against Tampa at home, but 6-12 straight up in their last 18 against the opponent in the American League. All right, Moose, this is my question. Obviously, we got McClanahan on the mound. Clearly, we're getting a great line to be getting McClanahan on the mound at -120. The reason, in my opinion, for that line is obviously the Rays do bad in Seattle. Well, why do they do bad in Seattle? My thing is late game, East Coast team traveling West Coast team playing an 8 o'clock game, which is like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on the West Coast. It's late. That makes a difference. So I want to go McClanahan just because he's the guy, right? But I got a good pitcher in Mariners. Mariners are whooping the Rays' ass. And this is kind of how I first started this whole the Mariners are what made me catch on to late games, East Coast team. Because I only looked at that for NFL, right? When you get a West Coast team traveling East Coast and they play that 12 o'clock game, that's like 10-9 on the West Coast. So you tend to lean on the East Coast teams. Well, reverse here. I tend to lean West Coast teams when the game is late and I got an East Coast team traveling west. So do I take McClanahan because he's the stud, or do I do what the numbers say? And the numbers are telling me we ride with the Mariners with the plus money on the money line.
Oh, no, you stay off this game completely.
Or we stay off this game.
No, because McClanahan's actually, he was lifted from his last start early because of a back injury. And the Rays that came out and they said, we're optimistic, we're confident he's going to be able to make his next start. And there's actually the exact same issue with James Paxton, who was lifted from his last start and is starting today against the Blue Jays.
The Boston game?
That's the Boston-Baltimore or the Boston-Toronto game. Yeah. And both situations got really close to making a bet, trying to back Bryce Miller here and trying to also back Jose Barrios at home. But dude, the injury is just too recent. Like, at least give me a start here, because McClanahan, his last start against the Royals, 3 2/3, 4 hits, and gave up 2 runs, walked 2. So he was clearly laboring, and now and he didn't go on the IL. They feel confident enough to get him back out there. But how much of that is the organization allowing him to do this versus saying he's fine, just go out there and pitch? And McClanahan's a dog, man. He's going to want to battle. He's going to want to be out there. So I'm off this game completely. Bryce Miller, even in his last start, which was on the road, he has been pitching better at home. But in his last start against the Orioles, 4 1/3, 6 hits, gave up 3 runs. He has walked guys more recently. He's had 6 walks in his last 3 starts. So it's not terrible, but it's also one of those things you go, maybe the league's making that a little adjustment. He's made enough starts now that the league kind of tends to make that adjustment after your 6th, 7th start, and he's already into his 10th going on right now. So yeah, I just stayed off completely from this game. As soon as the McClanahan injury popped into my head, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm off of this.
Gotcha. Okay, well, hey, shit, you just talked me off of it. So because I was unaware of the McClanahan injury, even though I just saw the name for the most part.
That's what a lot of bettors do, is that they'll just look at the name, they'll look at the ERAs, but you could just do a quick Google search, or if you play fantasy baseball, you can just hop on the Yahoo app, and that's the fantasy place to play. I'm sorry, the other industry that's over there that has the alphabets, I refuse to even acknowledge you. You guys have just ruined this whole sports entertainment industry. So shame on you and what you guys created here. But anyways, back to like the actual betting stuff. The casual bettor is not going to know that. So if you go on there and just do a quick little search for them and get a player update, you'll see it right there. Lower back issue, and lower backs with pitchers, knees with pitchers, those are pivot points. Those can be issues. And I should say about the Alex Cobb, he did have an oblique injury, but the Giants have been vocal saying it's not an issue.
Okay. All right. Well, get me off of it then. God damn it. I'm glad I didn't make a play too soon. So I always wait. So I ain't gonna say always. Sometimes I wait. Sometimes I don't. I'm not 100% sure. All right, let's move here. I made a play on this one already. Twins run line +1.5, -200. The money line is at +103. The Orioles, as I call them, run line. Moose, you remember this? I found these guys last year, Moose.
Mm-hmm. I'm on them this year. They've already cashed tickets for me.
I don't get credit this year because they're good coming out the gates, but I picked it up last year and I was riding with them all, well, not the whole year, but at least the back half of the season. I was on the Orioles. That run line is -1.5 at +170. The money line is at -135. The total is at 8.5. On the mound today, for the Twins, we got Lopez, 3-5, 4.41 ERA, 2 losses with a no decision over his last 3. They go as follows. He went 6, gave up 3, went 5, gave up 4, went 6, gave up 3. My boy Creamer is on the mound today for the Orioles, 8-3 with a 4.50 ERA. His last 3 games, a no decision and 2 wins. They go as follows. 7, gave up 3, went 5, gave up 1, went 6, gave up 2. Moose, I'm on the Orioles money line for the full game. I'm just not, it's not necessarily it's a fade of Lopez, but it's not like I'm backing Creamer all that well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I hear you, man.
It's not like I think Creamer's just more lights out than Lopez is, but I do believe that the bats for the Orioles are better than the bats for the Twins for some odd reason, I guess. I know the numbers only show they're slightly better. But this is my squad. I'm not gonna lie. It's more so that over their last 10, they're 5-5. But they're 6-4 ATS, 3-3 ATS at the crib. They're basically 500 all around. Last 10, 5-5 at the crib, 3-3 on the road, 2-2 as a favorite, 2-2. So they're pretty much a middle of the pack team, but I think I like the pitchers slightly better, and I like the bats slightly better, and we're at the crib. I was thinking about the over, but I don't trust the Twins bats, but I did take a flyer on the Orioles money line.
Man, I might jump on that because I am so close to taking the Orioles money line because everything caps to the Orioles. You alluded to the fact that the Orioles and the Twins have similar offensive numbers, and they do have similar offensive numbers against right-handed pitching until you factor in the home ballpark. And the Orioles at home against right-handed pitching, it's ungodly. I mean, it's not like a small sample size. Like, it is a large sample size. So if you're kind of following along here, you go to their home stats just from the beginning of the month, and Baltimore with their ISO. 202 ISO, 872 OPS, 503 slug, hitting 301. And this is in 344 plate appearances. So it's not a small sample size. Like, that's significant production against right-handed pitching. Kramer has only given up in his last 10 starts. He's only had 1 start where he gave up more than 3 runs. And it was a lot of runs, which skews his ERA. Right. That means the other 9 starts, he's been legit. Like, he's been very serviceable. It's the Baltimore bullpen that has not been great recently. Just since June 5th, Baltimore ERA is 5.01, allowing hitters to hit a 274 against them. And that's what's kind of holding me back is I want to go full game, but Baltimore bullpen has struggled mightily recently. But the other factor is Lopez. He pitches much better on the road. And there is a start recently where he went into Tampa Bay and shoved. I mean, I'm talking 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, was just dominant. And he's fully capable of that. And he's more likely to do that on the road. Those 2 factors right there, the bullpen discrepancy and Pablo Lopez being who he's been on the road, has been enough to hold me off. But man, I have heard a lot of smart people, a lot of people I completely trust and respect jumping on the Orioles money line. And it's just like, do you go there because everybody seems to be thinking the way you're thinking, or do you trust the two things that are holding you off are worthy of holding you off of a play? And that's where you as a bettor can give me some suggestion and advice.
I would say that depends on what type of bettor you are.
I'm generally volume.
Right. And I'm generally a volume guy too. And I feel like since I'm a volume guy, I don't like push a lot on my bets. And I think I was talking about the Davis yesterday. Because I called myself a scary bettor yesterday because I was gonna double up on something, but Dave talked me off of it with his analogy, with his analysis. But I try to stay the same, win or lose, bets, unit wise, right? And when I'm caught in between of whether I should go or should not go on a bet, I tend to stay away because there's something. But that's part of the being a scary bettor, right? Because I tend to feel like if I'm not like win or lose, but before I make the bet, if I'm not like I like this bet, I'm betting it in, right? Yeah. So I put it in because I feel like I can live with the result, win or lose, because I wanted that bet.
Yeah.
Versus,
so you know
if
what?
I'm not sure and then I lose, I'm like, fuck, I knew it. I shouldn't even done that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Regardless, I think the point that I really want to drive home for anybody that listens to this, whatever you do it every time. Because you said like, because you said like if you generally stay away, like if you feel like there's a reason, like you're wishy-washy and you say, I typically won't play those bet. There you go. That's the strategies. And I typically won't play those. Like if there's something that's just holding me off, I'm starting to realize like, hey, trust what it is that's preventing you, because you either learn to not listen to that, or you learn to hone it and you learn to use it. And I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to stay off, but I love your Orioles play. I'm going to root for you. So let's leave it at that. I'm going to stay off, but I'm going to root for you in your Orioles play. I think you're on the right side there.
Cool. Appreciate it. So I'll say this last thing before we get to the last game about being in between making bets, right? This is the problem I can give on it. Do with what you can live with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you can live with that loss, then it's all right. If you can't, when I say can, we all can live with the losses because we're making the bets, right? When I say can't, I mean just like if I lose and I'm not pissed, you know what I'm saying? Not pissed that I lost, because sometimes I'm pissed regardless, but I mean pissed at the decision that I made. That's when I say just if you can live with the decision, then cool. Like, because if I pick a game and I lose and I'm pissed about picking the game, I feel like that was a stupid bet. If I pick a team and they just lose, then hey, we lost.
Yeah, the phrase you said was perfect, and we all have said it. I knew I should. Like as soon as you say that, like as soon as you're like you're starting to be like, man, I knew I should. Like I gotta trust my gut, because what that's telling you is, your gut's probably been right recently, and this might have been one of those times you're just like, dude, I got to start listening to this thing. And maybe that's what's going on here. My gut has held me off. I'm going to hold off on here. And if it cashes, I'm fine with it, because I know a lot of people that were on it, and I'll be happy for all you guys. I'm not going to feel regret for not being on it. I'm just going to hope my other plays cash. So,
right. All right. That I agree. All right, Moose. One more game, and then we're done. And we're talking about, I got a question about another game though, but this last game we're going to cap.
I already did that one.
We already did that one. There we go. Guardians and Cubbies. Two teams are in the middle of the road to me. I don't know. Guardians, run line, +1.5, -120. Money line is at +175. Cubs run line, -1.5 is at +100. The money line is at -1.
Well, Marley, this game just started, so.
Did it start already?
It just started.
It started yet. I thought it starts at 2:20.
It's just starting like right now. So.
Oh, maybe that's 12:20.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is I didn't make a play on it. I missed it. I was leaning Cubs, but I didn't like the numbers that we were getting anyway. So yeah, that's cool. All right, let me ask you this before we get out of here. Then cool, save some time. All right, you already know what I'm going to ask you about probably. Astros, Rangers. Do we have a? I think personally, the Rangers are probably the best team in baseball. One of the, if not, but in my opinion, they're the best team in baseball. What do you think about that game? Is there something you playing? Is the line off too much?
I am playing this.
You know what? All right, cool. That's less important. Nationals in Philly. I think the Nationals are live dogs here. Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
they could be. It's just Josiah Gray, dude. He is so hot or cold.
I know.
He's the epitome of a live bet pitcher because when he's on, like he's on, and when he's off, you can tell really quickly as he'll start walking guys. He won't even get to a 2-strike count. Everything will be 3 balls, or he'll be behind in counts every time. He's just a live bet pitcher. I'm not going to try to get on him. I did like the under here, or the under with that game. But, dude, come on. I'm just going to stop trying to figure out what Josiah Gray is and just try to live bet him using what I know as a pitching coach and seeing if he's behind in counts or if he's not able to command a slider, whatever it might be. That's just how I'm going to move forward with Josiah Gray until further notice, because I think that's the best approach is don't bet him pre-flop, bet him live.
Okay. All right. That was more important than the Astros because I was thinking like, Nationals, man, that's a lot. I think they won 4 out of the last 5. They went up to Seattle, smacked them around 2 out of the 3 games. Then I saw Joe. I looked at his numbers here. I can't remember because I didn't write it down, but I did look it up. Clearly, I didn't make a decision on it when I was capping the games, but I did. It was something I wanted to ask. Astros and Rangers, I mean, I don't have a play on it. I'm staying off of it because it's just, I think the Rangers are the better team slightly, but the Astros bats may or may not have woken up. I don't know. They were swinging the bat against the Cardinals, but everybody swings the bat against the Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly.
And our pitching wasn't great, and the fucking Rangers bats are like 270 plus. So I was like, I'll just stay away.
Yeah, I got the Rangers last night. I got them as their line was going up because I believe it opened at like a 145. I got them at 155 money line with a 125 run line. I think it's now 180 or something like that, 185 on the Rangers. So if any side, it's the Astros on it as a side, but I am not betting what's his face. Oh God, what's his starter for the Astros? Why am I blanking on his name?
I got you.
I got it. It's like Obito or something like that.
So it's Blanco.
There you go.
Today.
Yeah, Blanco. He has struggled getting stretched out as a starter at the major leagues, but he did really well as a minor leaguer. But he started giving up home runs as soon as he started getting stretched out in the big leagues. He's given up a home run in each one of his starts.
I think his ERA is almost 5.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be fine eventually, but this is just a really bad stretch for him to be getting lengthened out. So I'm on the Rangers here full game. I got priced out of the first 5. I think the over is also a good look. Our boy Dabby Cab is on the first 5 over, and I think that's also a good look. But I think John Gray he's a good pitcher. There was a lot of talk on Jimmy the Bag betting this morning betting with the bag this morning about John Gray kind of not being the guy that he's pitching for right now. I gotta say, I think Bruce Bochy and Mike Maddox are doing just such a phenomenal job with their staff that you kind of just trust their pitchers regardless because of how those two are managing them and allowing them to rest and utilize good opportunities for them to build confidence when they need it and take them out so that they don't get hit around as much. I like the Rangers here.
I love the Rangers. Like I said earlier, I think they're the best team in baseball with the combination
Braves.
Their bats.
Braves.
I was waiting on the Braves or the Rays. I think the Rays have settled, even though they got out to that hot start. I think they've settled down a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's the Braves.
I like the Braves. I think the Rangers have better pitching though, as an overall. And then because I'm saying the Groom's going to come back.
I don't think he's coming back this year.
Is he done? Is he done for the year?
I think he's done for the year. I think he had Tommy John.
Oh shit! Yeah, he's done for the year. I didn't know what the injury was.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I know I'm pretty sure he had a significant injury to his arm. It might not have been Tommy John, but I know he's out for a while. If he's back this year, fantastic for Texas, but it's still too much. I think the Braves are just too much of a complete team. They are the clear-cut favorites, and it's really the Braves World Series to lose. Maybe the Dodgers can give them a run for their money, but dude,
I don't think so. I don't think the Dodgers are that good.
No, I think it's the Braves.
I think they're overhyped.
Yeah, it's ATL's to lose.
Quick recap, Moose. I think I only got you on one play today. Giants Mets under 9.
Yeah, because the other plays, the Cleveland Chicago game just started. I was on the under there, first 5 and full game, and I'm on Texas. Well, I can give out one other play if you want to record it. It's Milwaukee on the money line.
Brewers money line.
I like Peralta today. I think the Pirates kind of snuck away with one yesterday. They should not have won that game. It was an absolute terrible error that led to that game going Pittsburgh's way. I do not like Obito. I think he's kind of just a mid-level guy that is just getting some innings as they're trying to kind of figure out, should Pittsburgh make a run or should they hold off until next year and not waste any of their prospect or their prospect capital. I like Milwaukee. I like Peralta. I think Peralta's a really good pitcher. I think Pirates bats are starting to regress quite a bit here, and I expect that it's going to be a Milwaukee game. But dude, it's the Brewers, the fucking Brewers, man. They suck. They're terrible with this. So every time I've bet them, they have lost, and I continue to go back because it's what we talked about earlier. You cap, and the way you play it is the way you cap it. And I just like, hey, look, I mean, either I just stop betting those games completely, which takes a second team off the MLB market for me, or I just figure them out. And I'm in the process of trying to figure them out. But
maybe you just hit the pause.
But, yeah, I'm just trying to figure them out. And I think today is a Milwaukee spot.
Doesn't do it for me. They don't.
No, I get it. But I think this is a Milwaukee spot, and I'm on them money line here. So if you want to add that in for an official show play, might regret that, but hey, look, I'm playing it regardless.
Your decision, sir. I put it in, but I can take it out.
No, leave it.
That's totally on you.
Just leave it.
All right. I am on Giants first 5. I'm also on that Giants Mets under with Moose, and took a flyer on their Orioles money line. The hoodoo play of the day is, because I didn't give out one yesterday, it is 3-0, by the way, and that is Giants Mets under 9. We're gonna cash that whole, Moose. That's it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Moose, tell the people where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can do it like right here at Moose Money Bets. Follow me for Moose stuff. I'm good at that kind of thing.
Moose has entire cards for you guys. So many that I can't even put in the show most of the time. So go follow the homie Moose. Great baseball information. Obviously, he's a coach. So that's just more of a thing. And me, your boy, Marley Bets. Find me here at Brothas N Bets. I'm gonna be joining my man Dave today at Picks from Dave. Apparently, they do a bunch of crazy ass wacky bets on the show on Friday nights. So catch me there tonight. And like yesterday, because we smacked them up yesterday, 3-0. Like today, we're gonna smack them up. And tomorrow, I think I'll have Dom on, and I think I'll be doing Dommy's play show tomorrow. So you can catch me there. Yeah, bring out the Moose. Move it center. There we go. Let us see the Moose before we get up out of here.
That's a big one. It's a big one.
That's what she said.
Ha
ha. All right, people. Y'all already know what it is, man. And that is, let's beat Vegas. We out this
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey,